Okay, first a couple organizational things. You need to work inside of a project folder. So if we go back to Module 1, there's a whole section on working within a project. So Module 1 and where is it? Setting up and using projects. So please reread this and watch this video, Module 1, page 6. It talks about project setup, and what you need to do is to create a project, which is like a folder that has a bunch of subfolders into it, and then you put all of your scenes files in the scenes directory, and then you put all of your texture images in the source images directory. And then every time you open your scene, before you open your scene, you say File, Set Project, and it says right here. It's all on this page. All the details are on this page. You set project first, and then you open your scene file. So make sure you use a project folder, that your scene files are in the scenes directory, and that your texture files are in the source images directory. So please do not turn in a file again that's not properly in a project file, and make sure you archive the scene file and send that zip. But you should not, because right now what I'm seeing is when I go to open this, is in here, you have some stuff on your desktop. You have something called assignment 1.3, and it's set to the project is set to a folder called assignment 3.1, which doesn't have a scenes directory in it and doesn't have a source images directory in it. And then your work is actually in your downloads folder, and it's all sitting out in the same folder. So all of that's wrong. And so this scenes file should be in a scenes directory that's inside of a project folder, and these texture images should be in a source images folder. Anyway, also the character is kind of facing backwards. If the camera was all screwed up, so I did view default view, and so the character's backwards. And should be centered. So let's do that first. I'm going to hold down J to rotate around in 15-degree increments. And then let's put the pivot point in the center here. So I'm going to do D and then hold down X and middle mouse drag to snap it there and maybe move it more to the center. And then hit D to get out of pivot move mode. What just happened? I'm just going to reset my move tool. There we go. Okay. And then I'll hold down X and I'll snap and I'll move it to the center, and then I'll freeze transformation. The other thing that you've done is you've combined the surfaces. You should not combine the surfaces. So let's do mesh separate, and so that all those surfaces are now separate again, because otherwise that'd be annoying when you try to rig it. And then let's freeze transformation on all of these, and then let's delete history on everything. Okay, so now it's kind of cleaned up. That's also, you should be naming your surfaces, although maybe that was named something before but you shouldn't be combining them. Don't combine them. But all that stuff aside, the paint job is great. I really like it. It's a really good looking. Yeah, I really like these little seeds and those things, and the coloring you've done on the face and the waved on the mouth and stuff. It's just really, it's nicely painted. I think there's some cleanup you could do here. I mean, did you have this all as one giant UV map or something? Oh wow, you laid everything out on one UV map. The bummer of that is that you limit the amount of texture resolution you have, so you can't get it, super highly detailed. I mean, it seems like it's sort of holding up. It might be nice to be a little better, but it's sort of not much turning back on that now, I don't think. But anyway, you might want to clean up this seam. You can do it after the fact in Maya. It's just that's a little. Where is that in the? Oh yeah. So that's this. Well, I think I'm looking at this part. Whoops. Just this here, say. Yeah, see it's this and that, those two humps, which obviously have a big seam. So you can actually fix that in Maya if you want, but just make sure you save sort of a backup of your. I'm just going to isolate this surface, and you might want to save a backup of your texture because this will override it. So I'm going to do right mouse, paint, 3D paint, and I'll do first I'll hit assign edit textures, and I'll do 2048 by 2048 or whatever your original sign is, and then assign edit textures. And then I'm going to have this set to the clone tool. So here's clone right here. And I will shrink the brush size, hold down B, click and drag to change the brush size. And then I'll have to set clone source. So I'll say like, set clone source and maybe click here and just kind of sort of touch it along that edge. Maybe I can get a bigger brush. And then again, set clone source, maybe here. Oh, I don't really like those. I'm going to undo. Sometimes you have to undo extra times with this. Let's try that again. You have to set clone source a lot, probably more than you normally need to in like Photoshop, because it's traveling along a 3D surface, so it's harder to know where it's going to pick up from. Whoops, see? Yeah, I have to hit undo more times than you normally would. Anyway, hopefully you got the idea. Set clone source. Do I have my opacity low? That's why this seems to be taking forever. Okay. Anyway, you can take your time painting that, but the idea is that I'm not doing like the most beautiful job ever of this, but the idea is that you can paint out. See, that's kind of darker there, where I was just picking from. That wasn't helping much. It's hard to get just the right colors with these things in the way. I mean, the other thing I could do in something like this is just pick a color. Like I could just grab this and then paint the color instead of using the clone thing, because I think. Oh, I'm still using clone. Hold on. Paint. Make sure I use a soft brush. Yeah, in this case, I think paint will just be easier. Just select a color, because there's not much, we're not really picking up much texture here. It's really just the color. Yeah, that's working better. Just pick a color that's nearby. Paint out that seam. Anyway, you can put some more time into it and do probably a better job than I'm doing right now. Yeah, that's starting to disappear. Anyway, so put some time into that and paint out any obvious seams. Just unisolate this. Okay, why did the texture go away? What just? Oh, maybe because of the. I don't know. What is that utility? Triple shading switch. I don't know. It should just be the same one, right? Because it's just the same material on the whole thing, right? Just going to right mouse click, assign material. Something's gone terribly wrong. You know what I didn't do is... That sure seems like it should work. Let me try reverse. No. I don't know, that could be just one of those close Maya and reopen it, because it might have had something to do. Well, the one thing I forgot to mention, by the way, is that if you change this, if you paint those on those textures, you have to hit save textures. You don't just save them by saving your scene. Anyway, yeah, we need to reassign those. Okay.